Hey kids, it's your favorite corporate geisha here, and today I want to talk about how to get to know yourself. So the last couple of videos I've posted have been all about goals and your purpose and finding your mission and not being swayed from your mission. But before you can really get to all that, a lot of us got to start with, what is it that I'm really into? Who am I? What am I about? What interests me? Some of us who grew up as only children and natural introverts, have no problem sitting and staring outside of a window for a little bit and reminiscing on our lives and coming up with, who are we and what does it all mean? Some of us aren't made like that, right? So it can be a little bit harder for us to get into ourselves and figure out, well, what is it that I'm really into, or what is it that really drives me? So today I wanted to share 4 ways that you can use to get to know yourself better. Number 1, the Myers-Briggs type indicator. Sorry about all the noise outside. I've got my windows open. But the first one is Myers-Briggs type indicator. And if you've been in corporate America for longer than 30 minutes, you've probably heard of this, right? So this is one that has been around for a long time. And it's one of the reasons that I like it, because it's so popular, because so many people have heard about it and so many people have done it. It's one of those things that once you take it, you can find other people to talk to about it and share your insights. So the Myers-Briggs type indicator is based on the psychology of this psychologist called Carl Jung, Jung, and it talks about 4 different ways of perceiving and judging, and it combines these 4 different ways into 16 personality types. So when you take the assessment, it'll spit out to you sort of where you land in those 16 personality types, and that will help you, allegedly, will help you understand, so how is it that I think? How is it that I assess situations? How do I judge things? How do I prefer to mentally engage with myself, with others, and the larger environment? So that one I really like. I think it's one of those that's a great place to start. And like I said, because so many other people have taken it, it's a good place where you can converse with others and share and get feedback. And there's lots of documentation that'll help you sort of dig deeper once you've gotten your Myers-Briggs type. I myself, thanks for asking, I am an INTP. Yes, I'm an INTP. So check that out and you can see exactly why I'm as weird as I am. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the Enneagram. So it's very similar to the Myers-Briggs type indicator, but where the Myers-Briggs type indicator gives you sort of like these 4 letters that you've got to remember, INTP, you saw I was struggling. The Enneagram just gives you a single number. What the Enneagram really focuses on, again, you take this test and what it's really focusing on is more of your ego, right? Like, so your self-identity, how you view yourself, or what is the sort of archetype or the persona that you embody. So the Enneagram talks about your ego, it talks about your passion, and it talks about your virtues. So how you see yourself is your ego, your passion is what is it that really drives you and makes you excited, and your virtues are sort of like what are your values or the things that you want to keep as primary focus or very important in your life and the things that you do. So the Enneagram, I think, is really great for people who have a hard time remembering all those interesting letter combinations, and you just need a single number. So it'll give you a number from, I think, 1 to 9. There are 9 Enneagram types. And then once you get that number, you can do a lot of research on what that number means and how it may show up in the positive ways and the negative ways. So I really like that about the Enneagram, is that it shows you how those things look when you're functioning healthily, whatever, when you're healthy, and then how it functions when you're not so healthy, or when you're feeling weak or stressed or whatever. So I really like that one for that reason. So that's number 2. Number 3. So the third one is one that I found out about just about a couple of years ago, and it's called the Strengths Finder, or more specifically, some places it's called the Clifton Strengths Finder. And this is one that was, I think it's now administered by the Gallup organization. So Gallup, who does all the polls and all that stuff about, social preferences and things like that. So with the Strengths Finder, basically there are 34 themes that the Strengths Finder is broken into. And as you take this assessment, it can show you either your top 5 or all 34. So it's really ranking you among these themes. What are the things that you have the greatest strengths in? I love this particular assessment because I think sometimes we talk about things that we're interested in, but we may not be strong in. Like, I'm interested in, say, underwater basket weaving. I don't know how to weave baskets and I can't hold my breath very long. So should I really go and put my energy towards that if that's not a strength? Maybe I can, maybe not. But I think starting with your strengths and the things that you're already naturally sort of inclined to is very helpful, especially when it comes to trying to find a job or what you're going to spend your life doing, right? Or even ways that you can be more helpful in your family, in your social circles, in your community. So I love that one. And I think it also comes along with the book, which I have somewhere around here. I'll probably share it with you in the comments or whatever. It comes with, or you can get a book that it comes with, which I love the book because it gives me the ability to kind of go back and get those strengths that were identified and read into them a little bit more over time. Right. So that's number 4. Number 5. So the 5th way to get to know yourself, to me, I've been doing this for a very long time. It's a little weird for some people, but it's a natal chart or a birth chart, which is an astrology-based thing that basically tells you sort of where all the planets in the solar system were when you were born. This sounds weird, Keisha. I'm a Christian. I can't be looking at stuff like this. I get it. Astrology is not for everybody. That's why I gave you 4 things. If this is not your thing, don't worry about it. But why should you use it, or why do I use it? I am someone who's very interested in both, the regular sciences and some of the more mystical sciences. So astrology has always resonated with me because it sort of takes something that is, sort of mystical, but then makes it very practical for sort of daily use. And the birth chart really, it sort of lines up with each of the planets represent a certain aspect of your personality, and the way that it was placed when you were born sort of says how that aspect of your personality comes out in your daily life or in various aspects of your life. So whether it be relating to your family, your home, your work, yourself, your inner emotions, your sex drive, whatever. So what I love about the birth chart is that it's just an endless source of self-study. I've done my birth chart, and I do birth charts for friends, and I've done my birth chart probably at least a dozen times since I first learned to do it back in my 20s. And each time I do it, each stage of life that I look at it, I find something else that is like an aha moment for me, right? So the birth chart is, most people know like I'm a Gemini or I'm a Taurus or whatever. The birth chart goes below much deeper than just that one sign and shows you all the signs. And it gives you, again, just a lot more in-depth insight as to how you might be showing up in the world. So there you have it, 4 ways to get to know yourself better. And I'll share some links at the end of this for both, for all of those, for the Myers-Briggs, for the Enneagram, the Strengths Finder, and for your natal chart or your birth chart. So you can have some places to go to get started on those things. So hopefully that was really helpful for you. And hopefully once you've taken one or more of these tests or these assessments, you'll have a better picture of what it is that you're really into, who you are. And that should help you start setting your goals, thinking about your life mission and purpose, finding your next job, getting your career back on track, whatever it is that you're trying to do. So hope that helps. Let me know how that turns out. If you have any other questions about those things, definitely happy to have a conversation. So have a good Monday. Have a good week.